YouTube has decided to not share my videos with everyone who subscribes. Please follow me on social media to stay up to date. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater. And back in 2009, just a year and a half after Iron Man came out, we got Sherlock Holmes. Robert Downey Jr. taking on another franchise, another iconic role, and quite frankly, knocking it out of the park. I love Sherlock Holmes. And then 2 years later, we got Game of Shadows, which I thought Jared Harris did an excellent job as Moriarty, much better than the originally rumored Brad Pitt to take on the role. However, that would have been an interesting choice. And we've had nothing since then. It's so long since then, right? It's 2018. 2018. It's been freaking 6.5 years since that movie came out. 6.5 years. We've got to see him more times in Iron Man movies, or as a character, than we have got to see him as Sherlock Holmes, which is a role I think he does a great job at. But apparently, Warner's sensing that they need more of a franchise to keep things going rather than Harry Potter and I forget the other one now. They've decided to come back into the fold. Sherlock Holmes 3 gets a Christmas 2020 release date. Yeah, boy. Sherlock Holmes 3 is finally happening. This is a movie that has had plenty of false starts and a lot of maybe not sort of stuff over the years, but it looks like we're finally getting to see Robert Downey Jr. back as a legendary detective with Jude Law at his side as Watson. Warner Brothers has officially locked down Christmas Day 2020 release date for the movie, which gives them plenty of time to get everything squared away. Given the fact that Warner's has had problems lately with some of their movies that's not quite DCEU or Harry Potter, and even those have had their own issues, going back into another franchise is what they need right now. It just dawned on me that the DC movies are the other franchise that they have. It's that and Harry Potter. That's it. And so it says here that the last time we saw Robert Downey Jr. As a character was in 2011's Sherlock Holmes, Game of Shadows. The first Sherlock Holmes came out in 2009. Both were commercially successful, making more than $1 billion combined at the worldwide box office. But there was also a short gap in sequels, like I said, 2009 to 2011. By the time Sherlock Holmes 3 actually arrives in theaters, December 25th, 2020, it will have been 9 years since the last installment. Will that be too long, or will the love people have for Robert Downey Jr. and his version of the character overcome that and help this movie become a success? I'm going to sit there and go, it's going to clearly be a success, because they're you know, obviously we haven't really seen much out of the Sherlock show from the BBC. I'd argue at this point it's pretty much all but canceled. Right? They just kind of moved on. That's how the British do things. You know, no emotion, no attachment, just clip it and walk away. You bastards. But that being said, these movies are still well liked. Yeah, it's been 9 years, almost 8.5 years since the first movie came out, right? 6.5 years since the second movie came out. Obviously, people still want to see this kind of stuff, or else they wouldn't be doing it. But I just really hope that the movie's good. Now it says here, and this is where it gets interesting. Another thing to consider is that the movie will be facing down some rather stiff competition. James Cameron's Avatar 2 will be another movie that people have been waiting a long time to see. By that time when it finally arrives, and it's scheduled to hit theaters December 18th, 2020, a week before. Now, there's also the same exact week in December that that the first Avatar was released in 2009. I think that was like December 17th, 2009 is when that came out. That means that Sherlock Holmes 3 will be coming out just a week later, and since Avatar is still the highest grossing movie ever made, that's about as big as competition gets. Going up against Holmes and Watson directly will be Illumination's Sing 2, which comes out on Christmas Day, and Sing was actually really, really, really good. For a DreamWorks animated movie, it was solid. It was really solid. And having a sequel coming out, I don't know if it's necessary, but the movie's done very well on home video. So again, I don't quite know what the hell is going on. I honestly feel like Warner should move this out of the way a little bit, right? Like, I know they want to put it out. I know they want to put it out in 2020 in order to be able to get in for the end of the year financials. I would move it up, man. I would move it up a little bit because we already know that Star Wars Episode 9 is going to be going up against Wonder Woman. That's going to be a thing for next Christmas. So clearly, you know, they may not want to put themselves in a position where this movie is going to possibly be, just washed out by Avatar. Pure curiosity alone is going to keep Avatar going for the first 2 weeks. So there's that too. Now, the other matter here is whether or not Guy Ritchie has signed on to direct. He directed the first 2 movies and has been in the conversation for years, but as of right now, he's not currently attached. And that could have something to do with King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, which was a big flop for Warner Brothers last year. It has a lot to do with Warner Brothers trying to jumpstart a franchise, a shared cinematic universe, without testing the first film. King Arthur was a solid movie. Guy Ritchie is a very solid director. It's kind of the same thing that happened with Man from U.N.C.L.E. from 2015. Man from U.N.C.L.E. had terrible marketing. Great movie. Just a great movie. But nobody saw it because the marketing showed you most of the action scenes, but it didn't focus on the interpersonal connection between Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer, who both were excellent. And it's very similar in that regard to that dynamic that Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. have as Holmes and Watson. So I'm definitely curious to see what's going to happen with this. Also, what we have is we've got, I think it's a Sony comedy that is called Holmes and Watson that is coming out either this year or next year, starring Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, which could help invigorate the box office draw for Sherlock Holmes 3 by reminding people that, like, oh yeah, the Downey Jr. one exists. Those are still really good. Oh, there's another one coming? Cool. I'll put it on my calendar. I don't know if that's going to happen. This is pure speculation, but who knows? We are where we are and things get a little bit crazy. But anyway, what do you guys have to say about this? Let me know down in the comments below. I am curious to know your thoughts on this one. Are you excited? Should they just let it go? Should they reboot it? These are things I'm curious about, so go ahead and type them up. Also, be sure to thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell if you want to support the channel. The best way to do that is through Patreon or just by watching more videos. In fact, if you want to see more videos, you can do so right now.